It was one of those chilly, overcast afternoons in New York City, a day when thick, gray clouds blanketed the sky and a gentle drizzle blurred the neon glow of busy sidewalks. The bustling energy of Manhattan was momentarily subdued by the soft patter of rain and the distant hum of traffic, setting an unexpected stage for a series of events that would forever alter the life of one hardworking waitress and ripple out into the community. At Urban Brew, a modest cafe tucked away on a quiet side street in Lower Manhattan, the atmosphere was a blend of nostalgia and simple comfort. The cafe's interior boasted faded vintage posters, chipped wooden tables, and a counter worn smooth by years of service. The air was filled with the inviting aroma of freshly brewed coffee and the subtle sweetness of baked goods, a haven for locals seeking refuge from the city's relentless pace. Marissa had been a fixture at Urban Brew for as long as anyone could remember. Each day, she moved with practiced precision, greeting regulars with a warm smile, refilling sugar jars, and carefully wiping down tables. Yet behind her friendly demeanor, Marissa carried the weight of endless challenges, overdue bills, an impending rent deadline, and the constant fatigue of long, exhausting shifts. Despite the hardships, she clung to a fragile hope that her efforts would eventually be recognized. On that particular afternoon, as Marissa was finishing her task by the large steamed-up windows that framed a rain-soaked cityscape, the cafe was quieter than usual. The gentle clinking of porcelain cups and the soft strum of an acoustic tune from a corner speaker provided a soothing backdrop. Outside, the drizzle turned the urban landscape into a hazy watercolor, with streetlights casting diffused pools of light on the glistening pavement. Lost in the monotony of her routine and the silent worries that filled her thoughts, Marissa almost missed the sudden, crisp jingle of the doorbell. Startled, she glanced up, expecting to see a regular customer. Instead, she was met with a sight that made her heart skip a beat. Standing in the doorway was a tall, lean man whose presence was impossible to ignore. He wore a simple yet impeccably neat white t-shirt, well-fitted jeans, and a light jacket that complemented his unassuming charm. His hair was styled neatly, and his eyes, calm, composed, and curiously intense, swept over the room. In that split second, Marissa recognized him immediately. It was Barron Trump, a name that echoed through headlines, television screens, and glossy magazines as a symbol of wealth and high expectations. Yet here, in the unpretentious confines of Urban Brew, he appeared simply as a customer, humble and almost unremarkable in his demeanor. Though her heart raced with disbelief, Marissa maintained her professionalism. With a steady smile, she approached the table in the far corner of the cafe, a secluded spot that offered a semblance of privacy. "Good afternoon," she said softly, her voice betraying only the faintest tremor as she asked, "May I take your order?" Barron lifted his gaze slowly, and in that moment, a surprising warmth shone in his eyes. "I'd like a cappuccino, please. And perhaps one of your fresh croissants," he replied in a calm, unhurried tone, a voice that carried unexpected sincerity. Marissa quickly noted his order, her mind a whirlwind of conflicting thoughts. Here was a man whose public image was shrouded in opulence and privilege. Yet in this simple, cozy cafe, he was just another customer. And yet, something about the gentle sincerity in his eyes hinted at a depth far beyond the glitzy persona familiar to the public. After taking his order, Marissa returned to her station, but she couldn't shake the pull of curiosity. She found herself glancing back frequently toward the corner where Barron sat. There he was, quietly absorbed in thought, occasionally sipping water from a small glass, his eyes occasionally drifting to the rain-misted window, as if the city outside whispered secrets meant only for him. His relaxed posture belied an inner complexity that resonated with Marissa. Each silent moment of his seemed to echo her own buried hopes and struggles. Time passed slowly in the gentle cadence of the cafe's rhythm. The hiss of the espresso machine and the rhythmic clatter of dishes filled the background as Marissa prepared the cappuccino with care. She frothed the milk until it formed delicate, swirling patterns atop the steaming coffee. every movement precise and deliberate. Finally, with a cappuccino and a warm, flaky croissant ready, she balanced the tray and made her way back to Barron's table. "Here you go," she said softly, setting the cup and pastry before him with a tenderness that belied the routine of her day. For a heartbeat, their eyes met, a brief, silent connection that made the ambient noise of the cafe fade into a distant murmur. "Thank you," Barron murmured, his words low and sincere, carrying with them an unspoken gratitude that wrapped around Marissa like a warm blanket. In that moment, she felt a flicker of recognition, a sense that she was seen for who she truly was, not just another cog in the daily grind. As the minutes trickled by and Barron finished his light meal, something unexpected unfolded. Slowly, with deliberate calm, he reached into his pocket and produced a small pen. Marissa, though busy attending to other customers, couldn't help but notice his measured gesture. With quiet precision, he scribbled a few words on the receipt from his order. Marissa's eyes widened as she observed him carefully fold the paper and tuck it neatly beneath his empty coffee cup, a simple act loaded with meaning. It was as if he was safeguarding a personal message, meant to be discovered later, and Marissa's heart quickened with anticipation and curiosity. Unable to resist the pull of this mystery any longer, during a brief lull in the cafe's activity, Marissa retreated to a quiet corner behind the counter. With trembling hands, she retrieved the folded receipt left on the table and slowly unfolded it. The neat, deliberate handwriting revealed a message that seemed to come straight from a heart. "Your kindness and hard work do not go unnoticed. My family has been where you are. Stay strong. Brighter days are coming." Beneath the heartfelt words, an astonishing tip, a sum in the four-digit range, was clearly indicated. In that instant, Marissa's breath caught in her throat. Tears welled in her eyes, not solely because of the generous amount, but because of the deep, resonant acknowledgement of her struggles. It was more than money. It was a profound reminder that her relentless efforts, her daily sacrifices, and her quiet resilience had been seen and valued. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, Marissa felt truly recognized, her worth affirmed in a way that warmed her soul. Almost immediately, the story of that note spread like wildfire throughout Urban Brew. Soft murmurs and whispers among patrons and coworkers grew into excited conversations. By evening, social media platforms buzzed with headlines such as "Barron Trump leaves heartwarming note for waitress at Urban Brew," and "A simple act of kindness sparks national conversation." The narrative, rich with themes of empathy, recognition, and the transformative power of a single gesture, began to ripple outward, touching hearts not only in the neighborhood, but across the city. As dusk settled over New York, the atmosphere within Urban Brew transformed. Regular customers, now aware of the extraordinary event, approached Marissa with gentle smiles and kind words of encouragement. Even her manager, who once offered only a brief nod of acknowledgement, now regarded her with genuine admiration, exclaiming, "You're our local hero, Marissa." Despite the praise, Marissa felt a bittersweet vulnerability, a delicate mix of pride and the weight of being thrust into the spotlight. That night, after closing time, Marissa remained behind the counter, alone with her thoughts. Outside, the city's neon lights shimmered softly through the rain, and the steady patter of droplets on the pavement provided a soothing soundtrack to her solitude. Clutching the note tightly, she allowed herself a moment of deep introspection. "Stay strong. Brighter days are coming." The words echoed in her heart like a promise of renewal. In that silent, solitary moment, a spark of hope was ignited within her, dispelling some of the darkness that had long overshadowed her life. In the days that followed, Marissa's story evolved into a beacon of inspiration throughout New York City. Local news outlets picked up the tale, and soon community discussions blossomed around the transformative power of empathy and kindness. During an emotional appearance on a morning show, Marissa shared, her voice trembling with a mixture of raw emotion and renewed strength. "It wasn't just about the generous tip. It was about realizing that someone saw me, really saw me, even when I felt invisible. Her words resonated widely, sparking a broader dialogue about the dignity of everyday workers and the importance of recognizing the inherent worth of every individual. Over the ensuing weeks, Urban Brew transformed. Regular patrons began leaving their own handwritten notes of encouragement on napkins, and the atmosphere grew increasingly warm and supportive. Marissa, once lost in the anonymity of endless shifts, now carried the note as a cherished talisman, a constant reminder that even the smallest act of kindness could illuminate the darkest moments. Yet, despite the overwhelming positivity, Marissa found herself wrestling with the sudden fame her story had brought. Social media erupted with comments and news headlines, turning her once private struggles into a public narrative. Though many celebrated her resilience, Marissa felt exposed and vulnerable, as if her most personal hardships were now on display for the world to see. One rainy morning, as she prepared for another long shift, her phone buzzed relentlessly with messages echoing the familiar refrain, "Stay strong, brighter days are coming." In that moment, Marissa realized that the note had transcended its humble origins, evolving into a universal message of hope and resilience. A message that resonated far beyond the walls of Urban Brew. As the day drew to a close, Marissa locked up the cafe and stepped out into the rain-washed streets of New York. The soft glow of streetlights, mingled with the gentle rhythm of falling rain, provided a reflective backdrop as she walked home. Each step seemed lighter, every breath filled with a newfound sense of purpose. The note, safely tucked away in her apron pocket, was a constant reminder that even in the midst of life's hardships, kindness carries an enduring strength, a strength capable of transforming lives. In time, Marissa's experience became more than just a viral story. It sparked a broader conversation about the dignity of everyday workers and the transformative power of empathy. Community forums, local news segments, and social media discussions all celebrated her journey, underscoring the idea that even the smallest gesture can ignite hope and change lives. A sip of hope, the note that changed everything, came to symbolize the belief that despite life's relentless challenges, every act of genuine compassion has the power to inspire transformation, to bridge divides, and to remind us all that we are never truly invisible. And so, on that rainy afternoon in New York City, within the humble walls of Urban Brew, a single note not only transformed Marissa's life, but also kindled a movement of hope and resilience. A testament to the idea that in the tapestry of everyday existence, even the smallest thread of kindness can weave a pattern of hope, strength, and undeniable human connection.